So I thought I'll say a few words in English, basically a summary of what I said in Tibetan, but essentially to say that, you know, we've concluded our Kalon Tripa and parliamentary elections recently, and if the election had gone another way, you would have a wonderful dinner tonight, but since that didn't happen, it's tea and lemonade and cookies. But overall, I think the elections went very well, and there was a very high level of participation and interest among the Tibetan community everywhere. So that's, I think, very encouraging overall. The election results, we will know the details later, exactly where people voted, and we'll also have a clear sense of who voted and how they voted. But I think it's fair to say that an election like this also revealed all our strengths and weaknesses in the exiled community. So very briefly, in terms of strength, I think it's fair to say that the Tibetans are very involved, and in many remote areas too, the Tibetan communities are fully engaged. They're very conscious of what's happening in the Tibetan community. Their concern for Tibet still remains strong. So that's a, I think, very encouraging part as far as Tibet is concerned. At the same time, in this campaign, in our travels, what it shows is that many of our communities in exile are still under very sort of difficult circumstances. I was especially mentioning communities in northeast India, Arunachal, and very north in the Ladakh. Some of the living and working conditions are really more than 50 years behind in terms of, let's say, a Tibetan who's now living and working comfortably in North America. So there are these issues which show both our strength and our weaknesses. And even in terms of our voting, while the participation was strong, it did reveal some of our weaknesses in terms of, shall we say, sectarian and regional feelings, which may have played quite an important role. So overall, what I was trying to say is, an election like this is something which we can study carefully and learn a lot in terms of what our strengths are and our weaknesses are. And it's true that overall we are going through a phase where there are lots of challenges for Tibet because the future still is not clear, and conditions in Tibet also have not changed. And the biggest challenge in the foreseeable future is that His Holiness is not going to be directly involved in any way with the exiled government. So that's going to be an issue which the Tibetan people have to deal with, and nobody has a clear sense exactly how to do that. And I hope it's a discussion and a process that we will go through carefully in the next few months or years, and maybe we'll come to some good position on that. What has been encouraging in terms of the overall efforts for Tibet within the community, and also from my own experience, is that many people who've always been involved with community matters, Tibetan national matters, have taken a very strong interest and role in this election process. And we've also gotten to know a whole new generation of younger people who've also jumped into this and made their contributions. Many of them obviously worked with me, young people who I never knew before, but they did their own online research and jumped on. But it did show a new level of commitment and concern for Tibet, which I think is invaluable. So that was, I think, encouraging for me and for those who are concerned about the future. So that's a brief summary of what I said, and I want to thank everyone again. And I think we still have a lot to do for Tibet, so I expect to be more engaged. and tamade issue or I should say it in Tibetan and English. Any three campaign details, seven mangoching a shandish than number. Shanded to the mancha pijutan sa. Any ya zita that in the ships I was in the una, zita sangmang on the ship sata ju yagal yu, sanes or some time yu, and ngale mother, nga chumba some zita to yu ya. Tandana the timbutone, mitsama tangwa yomate. Shende nange chigi kyang kres number sooner, zita to pia yu. And shende number mancha halam, tata, damba surchas in it, and the shende chini da tame zita. 죽동 제제 파수 테스트 하대 마시 망체 다다 딜레스 수도 그 디직 쉬야이 양 지데 토데 드리 야마 친제 아주 마시 캠페인 감도 랭크로 추스마 도선 디 춘주 레미도가 라라와 레미도가 장고 쉬나 가전선 야마들도 자 공합체 스톤다 지스니스도 남산 어리 섬지 어디 어리 되든 갑주스라 치면서 주주스나 치면서 저저저 다가 치도 봄주도와 그 뒤에 무슨 내수디 문제리샤 아니 간다 현대낭에다 비tun주로는 남삼아 토지셔야. So the final word was that I want to thank everybody who made donations to the campaign. I think we're sort of about to close all the accounts, and basically I think the donations that came in covered most of my expenses, and there's no sort of legal or official requirement to make the accounts public, but anybody who's donated anything, if you'd like to see detailed accounts of expenditures in India or over here, I'll be happy to share with them. And I did say that, expenses are not, how should we say, not easily negligible, because you think it's just a few hundred rupees here and there, it's just $10 or $20, but they actually add up very easily, and it just adds up. So we should be conscious of that. And surprisingly, one very good thing is, I traveled quite extensively for 2 or 3 months, right? And I never had a bad night's sleep. So I slept very well. I didn't have a running stomach. And it just shows that I am a Superman.